At a time when several serious environmental problems have been worsening at a fast pace, and it is increasingly felt that more and more international cooperation is needed to resolve these problems. So it was strongly felt that in this stage of human history, it is important for international cooperation to increase for various nations, in fact for all nations to work together for resolving environmental problems. And to get this kind of international cooperation, it was important to stop ongoing wars and also to ensure that the possibility of wars is minimized. Unfortunately, exactly the opposite seems to be happening in recent times. The number of ongoing wars appears to have reached an all-time high. At the same time, it is becoming increasingly difficult to get peaceful settlements, so that wars are getting prolonged for a very long time. The longer the wars continue, there is increasing risk that these wars may become wider wars. Other countries may also become involved. And then ultimately, what is most fearful is, at some stage of the war, nuclear weapons can also be used. Now, this is something that everyone would like to avoid, because nuclear weapons are so destructive as to threaten the entire world in some way. But despite the very clear dangers of a nuclear war, more and more recent situations have been developing in which various experts have said that the risk of actual use of nuclear weapons becomes a possibility. If you like this video so far, please share and like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Why is it that this is happening? Why is it that the Ukraine war has continued for so long? Why is it that peace in the Middle East is proving to be so elusive? Why is it that experts keep telling us that no matter how important it is to achieve peace, but the situation is so complicated that the possibilities of a peaceful agreement emerging appear to be remote and elusive? I think that overall conditions for peace in the world are decreasing. Why is this so? On the one hand, it appears that there are very strong and powerful interests as well as corrupt forces tied up with the weapons industry. Very small number of persons actually, but very powerful people who probably benefit from wars continuing to some extent or the other. Hundreds of billions of dollars worth of contracts and weapons purchases are being made, in which about maybe just 7 or 8 or 10 of the biggest arms companies may be involved, and along with this comes a lot of corruption. So this leads to the creation of very powerful vested interests who want that in some form wars, testing of weapons, actual use of weapons continue on a very large scale. But I think that there is something more which is missing, and it is the absence of strong peace movement in the world that has resulted in such conditions of forever wars. Wars are extremely destructive, but at the same time, there is immense violence, very distressing violence, also in everyday life of people. So we need a peace movement at two levels. First of all, the peace movement should be able to reduce violence in daily life. And secondly, the peace movement should be able to reduce the danger of wars. It should be able to stop the ongoing wars, and it should be able to reduce the possibilities of new wars emerging. At the same time, the peace movement should be able to create conditions in which weapons of mass destruction, first of all, if possible, these can be eliminated, and if these cannot be eliminated, then at least the possibilities of their actual use can be reduced as much as possible. We need more and more people to join the peace movement. This peace movement, first of all, will reduce the possibilities of violence in daily life in various ways, thereby contributing a lot to reducing the distress of ordinary people. When the distress of people related to violence is reduced, then they will like to join the peace movement in growing numbers. And it is in the form of this growing strength of peace movement. This strength of the peace movement will be carried further at the national and international levels to reduce the possibilities of war. Friends, it is extremely important. It is really the need of our times that the peace movement should be strengthened, and you should also contribute to strengthening the peace movement in whatever way you can.